that don't know up from they don't know. I thought I was on the right path. Don't make me lose faith in my masters, the chairman of the Federal Reserve and the senators and the congressmen and the Labor Department. Come on, this thing has been working good for me, man. I'm successful. I made a lot of money. Don't tell me it's ill-gotten gain. Don't tell me that there's something wrong with keep going on this trajectory of death and destruction, increasing poverty, increasing the wealth imbalance. Don't tell me it's wrong to create a third world country in America. Don't tell me it's wrong that we let every destitute immigrant in the world come to America and somehow find housing and let all these other mostly white men die out on the streets. They're weak. They're on drugs. They're drunk. They got problems. Don't you got to divorce yourself from those people. They're weak links in the chain. Let them perish, die out in the cold. And if $50 a month increase in somebody's rent is a straw that broke the camel's back, too bad. We got plenty of young, strong immigrants we're shipping in all the time to take their place. They're doing good. They got dual immigration. They got national citizenship in their country, and the cost of living is low. They're sending a few bucks back, and they're heroes because their money's worth so much more down here. You understand? Look, I know the score, okay? And I want you to know the score, how these people operate and how they've got this thing down to a science. And it is a juggernaut of evil. It is a beast. It is a beast. And only God can empower us humans enough to do what we have to do, unite and come against these people, remind them who's their boss. Some people might think I'm paranoid or overly cynical when I point out how the vast majority of jobs revolve around societal ills, but it's true. I mean, without desperate poverty, the fear that's induced, crime would plummet overnight. This is why universal basic income is so conservative. How much would we save in crime in this country? It would cost $100,000 a year to keep one inmate in jail for a year in California? Huh? Thereabouts, some 100,000 I've heard. 500,000 if you're a high-risk offender? Oh, my God. And this climate change crap, this really bugs me. There's never been any constant. The only constant has ever been change on the planet. That's science, my friends. And there's no discussion, about the weather modification program going on. Nothing in the mainstream media about it, but go online. It's everywhere. You can see the planes are outfitted for this. They've known how to make artificial clouds for decades upon decades now. It's going on. But do you think they want to get blamed for climate change? Could you imagine the lawsuits out there? And we're not going to talk about planned obsolescence out there. Or disruptive technology that disrupts profits. We can't have clean energy because, hey, what about the profits of the oil companies? The gas companies? Hey, come on now. It's sick, man. It's sick. The mass media, the mainstream media, they're so remiss. It's repugnant. Last week I said something about engineers, and they're great people. I mean, they're very brilliant. They've got all the education and all that. I got a nephew that's an engineer, mechanical engineer, and I respect the heck out of him. I tell him I'm kind of jealous. That's a degree I really wouldn't mind having. He's not getting paid fantastic. A lot more. He's way above minimum wage, but it's a career. And, it's imaginative. And these people have a foot in the door when it comes to innovating, inventing stuff, designing. And I wish I had that, because I've got a lot of good ideas. And the thing is, what engineers have to understand is, look, you're not the guy that spent his life in the field. So a lot of these guys that come up with these good ideas, you go, well, why didn't I think of that? Well, because they're in the field every day using the stuff. And that's why the layman often can come up with better ideas than these engineers. Because they're using the tools, implements, whatever it is that pertains to their particular skill set. You understand? So they know what they want. They know what's available and what's not. So that's where your innovation really, the best stuff comes from. Not to take away from the engineers. Do you understand how this thing works, though? It's only fair that the engineers give credit where credit's due. Somebody's given their blood, sweat, and tears to some trade. Okay? I mean, it's only if they come up with a better idea than you. Don't give them credit for it. You don't let them profit off it. It's just design changes often. I mentioned that alcoholism is lower in Europe. You know what? Don't hold me to that. I was trying to do some research. I really couldn't figure it out. Because they let people drink at a younger age. I was talking about how my dad took me into an Irish pub. It might have been an English pub. 10 years old, and he let me get drunk in there, and I puked my guts out, and it turned me off alcohol for a long, long time. But don't hold me to that. I don't know what, a lot of it has to do with how stressed out people are. I think so. Early childhood alcoholism and all that, I think it has to do with stress. Yeah, and on vaccines, people have a duty to do their own research and not just listen to the medical establishment because they can't guarantee you 100% that they're all safe. Okay, otherwise they wouldn't have this super fund set up, this vaccine damage fund. Look it up. And why is the mainstream media talking? You see, they don't do anything to educate public. Nothing. It's draconian, man. It's surreal. It's evil, man. The world is full of evil. The Super Bowl, wow, big deal. I mean, the whole world's watching this thing, but, I don't want to be a downer about this kind of stuff because people love their sports. And, this stuff, this gladiatorial activity has been going on for thousands of years. But, it's just guys acting stupidly. I mean, it's like a bullfight or something. Yeah, bulls do. They fight, animals do. But we're made in the image and likeness of gods. We're not supposed to be bashing each other's brains out and all this crap. But, I mean, it was even more violent in the past, right? So I watched this Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I know this is a movie out of the 80s, but I got to tell you, I just loved John Candy and Steve Martin in that show. I love a show that really makes me laugh, and that show does that. And it's touching, too. What a loss, losing John Candy was to the public, huh? What a nice guy he was. We just lost Kirk Douglas at 103, and he's a good guy, Kirk Douglas. I've never talked about him much. He hasn't been in the spotlight much the last several years, but apparently he was a very well-liked guy, and he was a philanthropist, a good charitable man, good guy. Trump's impeachment, he's been exonerated, and the Democrats were bitching and moaning. They knew the end from the beginning. When they started this thing, it was all theatrics. They knew it. Nancy Pelosi tearing up the speech. At this point, she's just become a comedian to me. She's funny, And I don't take anything she says or does seriously anymore. She used to really make me nuts, but not anymore because she's nuts. I feel sorry for her. I think she's on some kind of prescription drugs. That's my opinion. I'm glad the Iowans are rejecting Biden. I just noticed that in the polls. That's great. But now they want us in fear all the time around here. Now they're, we don't have enough snowpack. We ain't getting plenty of rain. I mean, for years we've been getting plenty of rain, but they want us to be all freaked out about this stuff. And I'm not going for it, Hey, anybody out there that likes to take care of their car, you keep an older car, I'm one of those people. I say if you're halfway satisfied with a vehicle, then keep it. You got to work the kinks out, though. I've got this 2000 Chevy Impala, and it was like that. I got this special steering shaft breakaway for safety steering shaft, and I had issues with that originally. It even had issues with the cradle that holds the motor initially. So I think they're doing research and development on the public. Chevy's made some good stuff, and Chevy's made some bad stuff. Just like Ford and Dodge, they all make some junk. Scotty Kilmer is a guy on YouTube, very entertaining, funny guy, real character. But he talks about everything. There's no holds barred on this guy. And, he down talks American makers, Chevy, too. But, I've had this 2000 Chevy Impala. I got a lot of good things to say about it, a lot of negative things. But the only light bulb that ever blew on the thing in over 240,000 miles, it's 20 years old now, is the license plate bulbs. And, original alternator. The original serpentine belt on the thing. The engine runs like brand new. I take care of my stuff, though. You can check every oil change I've ever done since day one. It's probably like well over 50 of them now. But he's good. I recommend you watch the guy. I think you'll enjoy watching Scotty Kilmer. He's quite famous, I guess. And but if you haven't watched it, I suggest you watch it. And it's a lot of fun. Plus, you can learn how to take care of your vehicle. So they've got us in fear with the novel coronavirus, and now they got this rent control initiative, and, we got growing homelessness. Always they want us in fear, discombobulated, divided. Well, friends, I got to leave it there. And I'm not going to be able to get any thoughts from this past week. But listen, I wish the best to everybody. I love everybody. Want the best for everybody. Have a great weekend and a great life, okay? Talk to you again.